Hi everybody, welcome to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be tying the fly you can see in the vise. So this one was given to me 15-20 years ago by Sean Jones, then Welsh International Lochstyle team member. He didn't have a name for it, but it looks to me as if it's a cross between two patterns. One is the Redneck Vicar Buzzer and the other Diawl Bach. I've called it the Redneck Thread Diawl Bach, basically. So the reason he gave it to me was that at the time I was the designated fly dresser for the Welsh Ladies International Lochstyle team, and the International was going to be held on the Lake of Menteith. He said, take this up with you, tie a few for the ladies, I'm sure it'll catch. So given that, as I've already said, it looks like the Redneck Vicar buzzer, I can see why it would work on the Lake of Menteith. Now, the video today isn't only about dressing this fly. Towards the end I'll show you several variations of this style of fly, and hopefully it'll inspire you to experiment and change. So for example, if I talk about the dressing of this fly, the hook is a size 10. You can use fine wire or heavyweight or standard gauge. You can use dry fly hooks if you want. The tail and throat are black cock hackle fibres. There's nothing stopping you from using olive or red game or brown or even grizzle to vary this pattern. And that is likewise for the tie-in silk. You know, change the tie-in silk, it'll change the fly. So it could be brown, it could be rust, it could be olive. And then likewise, when we go into the thorax, in this instance it's red holographic. There are so many tinsels out there, there are so many fluorescent threads or flosses. It's your fly. Experiment. Who knows, you might be sat on the next biggest fish catcher. But you know, to inspire you a little more, I'll show you several at the end. So that said, the dressing should have already flashed up and been gone through. Let's get on with tying the fly. Size 10 Camasan B175. Now I'm using the Camasan B175 purely because I've got loads of them, and in addition to that, it's small enough to see or to give the fly proportion, but it's also big enough so you can see what I'm doing really. And it's not necessarily about watching my fly tying skills, it's also so you can appreciate, hey, how did he do this, what did he do there, how did he work that out. So you know, this is as much for me to show you a fly as you to enjoy the video and see what I'm doing. So anyway, so we take the tie-in silk down to a point between the hook point and the barb, and then get some cock hackle fibres, and just beyond the hook bend, catch them in, and then close touching turns all the way up the hook shank. Okay. And as you get close to the eye, just trim that waist and continue on. There. Okay. So next thing we need to add in is the holographic tinsel. For size 10s it's medium, and for something smaller, well, narrow would probably be better. Now after I've secured it in, what I'll do is I'll take at least 15 turns down the hook shank. Not that I need a substantive thorax, but I need a patch to look like it is the thorax. At this point, what we can do, we can put some super glue or varnish across the thorax, so when you've ribbed the fly, it'll stay secure, but I'm not going to do that. They're easy enough to tie, and they're quick to grow. So I've formed the thorax, and then I'll just cover that with the holographic tinsel and take a final wrap just around the eye, a couple of turns to secure it, and then snip off the waste. So as with every Diawl Bach, we need to give it a false hackle, so grab a bunch of hackle fibres, offer them up. I like mine the same length as the body, so there they are. Trim off the waste, and we can use our thumbnail just to spread them evenly. So you can stop there if you want and just tie off and varnish the head, and that would be a perfectly acceptable Diawl Bach buzzer, I suppose, or a vicar Diawl Bach. And that's one thing about this pattern, you know, it's up to you to customize it how you want. In this instance, because of the one I showed you at the start, I'm just going to continue on and add the goose biots. So what I chose at the start was goose biots in caramel, so I'm going to take 2 of those. So I'm going to get the goose biots and I'm not trimming any of the fine tips because it's such a fine fly. So what I'll do is I'll just offer the pair of them up, and then take a couple of turns to secure those, and then just have a look at the positioning. That one's gone a little bit too far below, so manoeuvre that up. There we go. So they are now in a position I want. So what I can do is just trim those off, or give them a snip, hold my tie-in silk, there we go, there's one, and then give that one a snip, hold my tie-in silk tight and snip that one off. There we are. So all we'll do now is take a couple of wraps of tie-in thread to make a relatively nice head. Whip finish, only a couple of turns. There's 2, there's a third, and there's your finished fly. I'll just add some varnish on there to secure those heads. Of course, you know, you can put UV resin over the whole fly if you want. It's up to you, it's your fly, and I suppose what I'm trying to say is, yeah, although I'm showing you a fly pattern, I don't want you to follow it slavishly, you know. Be inspired, use your imagination, and try things. And this is actually how new fly patterns are born, really. So there you have it. That is the Redneck Thread Diawl Bach. So as I promised at the start of the video, what I'll do is I'll show you a number of variations, including the one I've just tied. Just going to zoom out, and hopefully we can get a number of those flies. Let me just try to get back in. There you go. So if I start off with this one then. So there is a pattern called the Cat's Whisker Montana, and that is an example of a Cat's Whisker Montana tied in this style. There's next to it is a Montana. Next to that is a silver vicar with orange goose biots for the cheeks, but tied in the style that I've just done. This one has got, I think it's pearl, yeah, so it's pearl or mirage for the thorax with caramel goose biots. The next one is the one that we've just tied, the holographic red with caramel goose biots, and then the last one is blue pearl with sunburst. So you can see there's plenty of opportunities there to customize your flies how you see fit, whether it's the hackle color, the thread color, the thorax color, or even the goose biot color. I mean, use your imagination. Don't slavishly follow what I've just shown you, even though the patterns are very successful. But you know, it's the one thing we do as fly tiers, and we innovate and improve and adapt, and we all want to reach that fly that catches all of those fish. I doubt if we'll ever reach that point, because then, you know, it'll all be too easy. I suppose it's like a golfer getting a hole in one. If he got a hole in one every time he hit the ball, then I don't think he'd be playing golf for very long, because it wouldn't be that much of a challenge. So anyway, that's enough for me. Storm Dara is doing the business outside. I'd just like to thank you for tuning in, watching the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Cheers.